Hey, Slacky, my phone started tripping and started tweaking and messed up. But nonetheless, I just want to grab a quick scripture, okay? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 1. We're going to read down to verse 3. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he was saying to me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And I believe that's going to is the prophets of the Lord being likened unto a watchman, man, pursuant to the book of Ezekiel. Verse 2, this is 37th chapter. Verse 2, and Yahweh Shai answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And this is literal. This is literal, man. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, right, man? Because you're gonna ultimately run to Yahweh Shai through fear of what he's gonna do to you, of what he's gonna do to this, first and foremost, the nation of Israel, and to everybody else that dwelleth upon the earth. When you read what is to come, man. Because what's going to come upon the earth is no joke. All right, it's not something that should be taken lightly. It's not something that you should tread upon lightly. It's not something that you should play with. There's truth isn't anything that you should play with. All right. And this is verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Right, man. And the scriptures talk about how every word that cometh out of the mouth of Yahweh Shai through the mouth of his prophets, okay, every prophecy that he has said is going to come to pass will come to pass. Scripture said Yahweh Shai is a man that he should not lie. All right. The vision is not going to tarry, meaning it's not just going to keep procrastinating and prolonging. It's never going to come, man. Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh Shai and read. None of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. You see? So these things will come to pass. They have to come to pass, all right? Because Yahweh shall have spoken it through the mouth of his prophets. So you're going to watch this video by Dabu7. Hey, man. And that's literally the truth. That's literally why Esau Edom is first and foremost going to unveil this, not just upon Canada, but upon all countries, because as the apostles and elders of Great Millstone have been saying, they're going to roll out the mark, and they're going to gradually do it to condition society to get used to it, so that by the time that they unveil the mark, it's not going to be so random. It's not going to be like a type of moment. Like, what the hell is this? They're already going to be used to it. Like, they're going to be built up to it, Like, I heard a brother say this in a video I was watching earlier. Everything that's been happening, with the Crown Royale and the lockdowns and everything, man, and the Monkey Acts and just all the stuff that's been happening, it wouldn't be too wise to unveil the mark right now. I believe it was the brother Bakar Moth that's based out in New York. Okay, he was talking about how it would be unwise for them to do that, because the people wouldn't be ready for it. They'd rebel. They'd fight against it. Okay, and he was going into the interview with Aaron Russo about how he talked with Nick Rockefeller. He didn't say they hope to do it or that they might do it. He said no, that they will do it. It's something that they will do. All right. So they will be conditioning most places to get used to it, man. That's why I believe they said they're gonna bring in the Biden Bucks by December 2023 or 13th. All right, one of those dates, and it's not conspiracy theory. It's not something that might happen. No, it's a bill that's been signed into law. Just like how when I was doing lessons in New York, the lessons in 2020, they had a bill signed in New York about how they're gonna be able to detain you and hold you in a quarantine camp. It's gonna be like a Walmart or a Target transform into a quarantine camp to hold you there until you either get better or like to hold you there as long as you need to based on good behavior and your symptoms and stuff like that. But you're going into what the FEMA camps that bros have been saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. So see everything that Great Millstone has been talking about, everything that brothers have been saying, everything that we've been prophesying about, man, it's coming to pass, man. You can't tell me that the apostles and elders aren't the true men of Yahweh Shemi Shai, because everything that they've been saying for the last 30 years, it's finally coming into fruition, man. That's why I brought out the scripture, Habakkuk 2 and 3, because the vision is yet for an appointed time, meaning that it was going to happen at a set time and a set place, man. And that set time and that set place is now. That's why I believe through the spirit that we're called Generation Z, because this is the last generation that's going to have to deal with Esau Edom's wicked rulership and his Babylonian philosophy and way of life, man. So let's continue watching this video. All right. So now we're going to delve into the scriptures, man, because this thing is coming to pass. So first, we're going to go into the mark. And this is what Esau Edom is trying to set up. Revelation 13. I'm going to start from Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a lad, and he spake as a dragon. And those two horns as a lamb are going into not democratic parties, but like the Babylonian parties. You know, we have Democrats and Republicans. All right, those are the two horns, the Democrats, the Republicans, the two horns. And he spake as a dragon. That's going into his law structure, how he just speaks things into fruition. And he only speaks in laws that are going to benefit him and his people in higher up places. All right, draconian, which is going to continue to get worse and worse in these latter days as time passes. Verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And that's exactly what he's done, man. The first beast whose deadly wound was healed is the Roman Empire, man. It's being brought back through the idea of Babylon the Great, man, which takes in like all the former captivities that we've been in and incorporates it into one, man. This is like the worst captivity that we've been in and will be in, man. And it's also been prophesied that Esau Edom will be ruling this captivity, man. We celebrate all the same holidays as we did in ancient Rome. Saturnalia, that's Christmas. Lupercalia, that's Valentine's Day. New Year's is the celebration of the Roman god Janus, which is why we even have the freaking month January, because it's dedicated to their god Janus, which is a two-faced god representing the old man and the new man. The older way of life and the new beginning, new year, new me. It's nothing new under the sun, man. Pursuant to the book of Ecclesiastes, they had the patricians and the plebeians back then. Now we got the Democrats and the Republicans. They had those oddly shaped structures back then in Rome. We have those same Roman-like structures for our places well, not our places of power, but these Babylonian places of power right now, man. It's nothing new under the sun. Verse 13, he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's going into the heart program, and he can create freaking tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, you name it, earthquakes, because he's been given the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, man. It's part of his blessing. Or he's given to by Yatazakak, Isaac, who in the reincarnation was Yahushai. Verse 14, and I see with them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do on the side of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And I'm just speaking as a man, But through the Spirit, I believe that another way that they can deceive people by miracles, when they unveil the charagma, and they unveil this digital app, all right, is going to be used. They can put it under the guise as something like protective measures, because now your local law enforcement is going to be able to know where you're at all times and be able to monitor your heart rate and your brain waves and just things like that to know if you're in danger or not and to know if you need assistance or not. You know how Esau Edom is. He wants total control. With the Karma, you're gonna have total control. He's gonna be able to know what you're doing, what you're reacting to, what you're thinking, things like that at all times. Because secretly, Esau Edom wants to be God. He wants to be God. He is the God of this world. People look up to the so-called white man as if he's an idol, man. Okay, continuing on in verse 14, saying to them that dwell on the earth, they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. The image is what we're living in right now. The image is basically the Roman way of life, man. They brought back that image. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast should both speak and cause that it means will not wish that the image of the beast should be killed, okay? Because ultimately, as the bro Bakar Moth was saying in his video, which was very edifying, if I might say, should be killed. Because ultimately, if you're part of the elect, you're not going to be killed for the most part. All right, there's some of us that are going to have to be beheaded to prove our loyalty, to prove how down we are for Yahweh Shemi Shai, okay? But ultimately, it's going to be a test. That's why Revelations 13 and Revelations 3 and 10 go hand in hand. Because that hour of temptation is going into when then the mark is finally unveiled. Verse 16, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, which go into the chip or the Neuralink. And that no man may buy or sell except he that had the charagma or the name of the animal or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which is 666. All right, Esau Edom was trying to unveil this because he secretly wishes that he was the Most High, man. Thessalonians 2 verse 3. Autocorrect. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right, which is Esau Edom. Esau Edom is that man of sin. Esau Edom is the son of perdition. Verse 4, who opposeth and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. How has he done that? First and foremost, he sits in the temple of God by painting over the images in his likeness, pursuant to 1 Maccabees 3 and 48, where it talks about how he laid open the book of law and sought to paint their images in his own likeness. He sits in the temple of the Most High by appointing the Most High, the angels, even his only begotten son, as a goddamn Edomite. All right, he shows himself that he's the Most High by his science, trying to prove that the Most High isn't real through science, talking about the earth being here for 4 million years and all sorts of blasphemy against Yahweh Shemi Shai, man. Now he's even trying to show that he's the most high by giving everybody a freaking by trying to chip the whole world so he can monitor everybody. Know exactly what you're doing at all times, even know what you're dreaming about type stuff, man. Just fucking madness. All right. You know, Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to me at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Verse 10, all they that speak and say unto thee, art thou become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? And this is talk about Esau, Edom. The nations of the other nations are starting to realize that Esau, Edom isn't top dog no more. Babylon isn't top dog no more. They're starting to say, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? That's why all these threats are coming out against Jim Crow. That's why the nations aren't backing down from Babylon anymore. They aren't backing down from war no more because that's what they're thinking in their hearts. Pursuing the Proverbs 21:1, because the king's heart is in the hands of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. So now he's putting it in their hearts to move against Esau, Edom, and to move against Babylon. Verse 11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the wiles. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, which going is the pride of America being brought down. And the worms covering us is the corrosion of this whole Babylonian infrastructure and the corrosion of Esau, Edom's way of life, and just everything that he's brought up. Everything that he's believed in, the American dream, monogamy, all these things that he's been preaching and uplifting is falling right before his very eyes. Okay, Jeremiah 51:7, how it talks about Babylon has been a golden cup and Yahweh Shemiah shine, and it made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk enough for wine, therefore the nations are mad. You see? Because everyone has drinking of that Babylonian cup, okay, and has taken up Esau Edom's philosophy. That's why all these places don't have kings and queens and princes anymore. They just have prime ministers and chancellors and presidents. Verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And this is not talking about the literal God. I mean, not the literal God, the literal angel, Lucifer, man. It's not talking about the literal angel, Satan, man. It's talking about Esau, Edom, and his higher-ups, the rulers of this world, the rulers of society. Because when you go into the word Lucifer, okay, Hayalal, all right, the morning star, Lucifer, light bearer, all right, the shining one, morning star, Lucifer, of the king of Babylon, Satan, figuratively. Hallel, describing the kingdom of Babylon, right? The light bearer, the Illuminati, the illuminated ones. To be illuminated means to bear a light. Okay, let's talk about Esau, Edom's secret society, Illuminati, and the people that the 5 Banga families that secretly run this place, the Illuminati, man. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which is talking about the Israelites. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, which talk about going into the Shemayim, literal space. I will be like the Most High, right? And this is exactly what he's trying to do with this mark, man. Okay, and it's a reason why Yahweh Shemiah Shai doesn't want to take you into this mark. Let's go into the law. This is Exodus chapter 21 and verse 5. I'm going to start from verse 3. Actually, I'm going to start from verse 1. Now, these are the judges which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master hath given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall bring him to the door and unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. All right. Now that's what an awl is. Now this awl, this mark of the beast is like Esau is the Most High's awl, which he gave to Esau Edom to distribute upon the whole earth, to prove whether they're going to serve man or they're going to serve Yahweh Shemiah Shai. That's why in Revelations 14 in 9, it talks about this. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his right hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark in his name, of his name, right? Okay? If you take that mark, you're ultimately acknowledging that Esau Edom is your God. He is your power. Okay, you'd rather serve him, or you'd rather serve money. You'd rather serve mammon. Okay, that's why this was written in the book of Matthew 6 and verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for he will either hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Mammon, treasure, riches, where it is personified and opposed to God, as I was saying in a latter lesson. People look at money. Money is a talisman. Okay, how we look at the Ruach HaKodesh, how we look at the Holy Spirit. Praying, prophesying, fasting, turning to the Lord when we need help, when we're in straits, when we're having problems. Praying to Him for abundance. Praying to Him to endure. Just praying to Him in general. Turning to Him when we need to turn to Him. That's how these people look at money. They turn to money when they're going through straits, when they're going through problems, when they need something the most. They just turn to money, man. All right. So that's why this mark is going to ensnare a lot of people. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh. I pray that this lesson was edifying. Until the next time I say, Shalom.